Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. What I share to you today, I'm going to share in the name of the Creator, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the most benevolent, the most merciful. And before I share, I will send upon our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam peace and blessings. Peace and blessings upon our Prophet. I wish him, and upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So, that being said, we get right into the meat and potatoes of this. Let me do something right quick. Where are we at? Aha, there. Alright, so I got a little timer here that I'm going to go through and set so I don't go too much over 5 minutes, inshallah. Got something here. Set for 5. Got a little book here that I finished reading. It's called Messages to the World, Statements of Osama Bin Laden. Now, people might be wondering why I had done that with that book. Well, ever since, even before I embraced Islam, I was always curious to find the good in a lot of these different people in these different situations. And so, when I went through the book, I'm just going to read to you some findings that I found spiritual that might be able to help out people in their own daily life, Whether or not people loved or hated Bin Laden, because there's an equal side on both sides. A lot of people loved him, a lot of people hated him. In the West, most people hated him, In the West, we all knew him as that terrorist that, was involved in all these things. But if you go into the certain anatomy of it, there's another side of the story, too. And where I'm going with this here is I'm going to click into my documents here. Hopefully it never got erased, but I got some things here that I'm going to tell you guys that might be able to. Here we go, right here. Inshallah. So, what we got here in this here was a statement by Osama Bin Laden, or it's a possible one, it's a possible epitaph of him. It says here, "So let me be a martyr, dwelling in a high mountain pass among a band of knights who, united in devotion to God, descend to face armies." You have to remember, Bin Laden was he was a fighter for his own causes, but be that as it may, he was also a Muslim, and he united with other people. They were also fighting an oppression that was going on. Now, where I'm going here with this is not so much that I'm trying to glorify what Bin Laden done, because I don't agree with terrorism, but, I want people to know that there is good in even the worst of people sometimes. So it says here, this was from the Islamic World Front, one of his letters, February 23rd, 1998. It says, "Praise be to God of the book, revealer of the book, controller of the clouds, defeater of factionalism, who says in his book, when the forbidden months are over, wherever you find the polytheists, kill them, seize them, besiege them, and ambush them." Now, here is where a lot of the things kind of went wrong with Bin Laden, Most people agree he was not a scholar, So, when you read through the full-on, verse of the Quran, that he recites there, it's Quran 9:5. The second half of the verse reads, "But if they turn to God, maintain the prayer, and pray the prescribed alms, let them go their way, for God is most forgiving, most merciful." So it's no secret that he paraphrased quite a bit. So, at the same time, there's no denying that there was also an evil side of Bin Laden. But, be that as it may, though, here's another one which, is different. This one here is on page 61. It says, "After faith, there is no greater duty than fighting an enemy who is corrupting religion and the world." So, Bin Laden looks at his cause in the sense that he is fighting a greater corruption. we go through here, where it says here, death is better than a life of humiliation, and some shame none can erase. That's paraphrased in one of his poems, which most people I think can probably agree, death is better than a life full of being humiliated, So for those people who might be experiencing some negative times in their own life, if they're in a relationship or anything, that can sometimes, I don't know, like, maybe not so much in a relationship, but if they're in just dealing with these people that are, that are constantly, doing things, they're humiliating people or something, you have to remember what he was getting at here in that regard. Basically, from what I understand with a lot of that, there has to be a change. It's up to us to make this change, because I would rather die than keep being humiliated, um, so with that being said, though, it looks like we're going to be kind of close to being out of time. Overall, in reading this book, I'd say that it was a pretty good read. I got to go through here and I got to learn a couple of different things that I did not know. So anyway, inshallah, we'll do some more reading and some more review on this later on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.